One of the things that's very clear is that people don't want to be changed anymore. No one wants to be changed. Your wife doesn't want to be changed. Your partner doesn't want to be changed. And you probably don't want to be changed. And it's clear that we live in a society where we've had so much shame try to attack us that we've kind of got to the point where we're rejecting it. And that's, in my opinion, a good place. And that's where this whole module called CAPT come in, because so many people out there want to teach about how to change and how to mentally be better and how to mentally have a good relationship. And I've read so many books, many good books on how to do this and how to do that. But what I feel like most of them are missing is, what if we don't want to be changed? And what if you love someone who is always broken for the rest of their life and you don't change them? Instead, you grow in capacity. And so there's a lot of restrictions on us that we've been taught to keep us from living that. And I call that capped, because we're kind of capped off. And there's a metaphor I use. There's this study that they did, and they took all these fleas, and I might get this wrong a little bit, but the idea is they put them in this jar and they put the lid on. At first these fleas would jump out, but once they put the lid on, those fleas would jump up and hit the lid and hit the lid and hit the lid. And eventually they took the lid off, no lid there anymore, but those fleas had learned behavior and they decided they're not going to jump any higher than that lid anymore, even though the lid was gone. We do that. We have lids on our life. We have restrictions on our life that, society put there, politics put there. There's some things that we're put into this world that you just can't escape. Like you're born and here you are and here's how it is. Taxes and death and, getting a job and doing all those things. Like we're just kind of thrown into this world. You don't have any choice. And then you have these religions, depending on where you live, you're going to be thrown a religion at you, and I live over here in Michigan and most of it is Christian, and not saying good or bad, just that's depending on where you live, you're going to be thrown a religion. And depending on how your government works, you're going to be told, how to vote, where to vote, who's good, who's bad, what person you should like. And then you get to your parents and you have, your parents' beliefs and how they were raised and what they thought was right and wrong. Then you have your own thoughts. And so we have all these caps that we put on ourselves. So these first few classes, that's what we're going to talk about, on how to identify what these caps are, how to take those lids off before we get into actually what is in module 4, which is how to actually have capacity. We're going to start with what are the things that are blocking our capacity from coming through. So I hope you join me on this journey. I welcome you to the, this whole idea of, rhythmetics, understanding that we are a rhythm people, that, we have everything we need here on earth, in nature, and in ourselves and in our relationships to thrive, to grow. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn these caps, and then we're going to move into other things to help us grow into capacity. So we'll be talking to you soon.